I love how I love
stories are entertaining. Yes.
No, yes, I love you can't get it wrong and you never get it done.
Right.
And you say,
and the reason that you can't get it wrong is because you never get it done. In other words, whatever you're living causes you to ask for.
And I take so much comfort in when you're like, you could have 20 or 30 lifetimes and you wouldn't get through all the work, at least this is how I hear it, you wouldn't get through all the work that you have ready to pop, because I feel like I never run out of ideas, and it feels like not as much I need to know the past and what I did back then, but it feels like that feeling of time not existing.
Which feels a lot better than shortage consciousness. It's what really living in the now is. And living in the now is understanding who you really are so that you can be aware of all that you are living right now. There is so much more awareness of who you are and what's around you and who others are. The deliciousness of life experience is so much more full than most people are in a position of understanding. Where once you get the sense of who you are and you begin practicing looking at this moment and this moment and this moment through the eyes of source, then there can be so much more satisfying convergences of people and ideas and experiences. That's what you're experiencing with the comic books and the movies and the collaboration that is coming. In other words, once you reach that place where you know that you are a collaborator and you allow yourself to collaborate with the whole of who you are, not the past of who you are, the present tense, which you want to call future tense, the present tense of who you are, that's when life is really, really rich. When an idea occurs to you at the same time that it occurs to several people at the table, and you've all been sitting there chewing, and then the idea just hatches within all of you because you have lovingly brought each other through your association and through your focus together into this place of utter allowance and connection to inner being. And then it's like you have one inner being. That was the reason that we presented that to Jerry and Esther and Tracy in that way. We wanted them to understand that consciousness is not linear like humans want to make it. It's a stream of consciousness. It's a stream of thought. You have access to so much more than you know that you do. And everything else is limiting.
Is the other direction not as limiting? Like how you say this group was gathered before this event happened, like in a way that like time isn't linear like we think. Meaning when I make work and I step back from something and look at it like from far away, I'll see like a theme. I do abstract stuff and I'll see a theme here that connects up here in a perfect way that I didn't realize repeated, that I didn't realize made this
But what we want
picture.
you to understand that's the law of attraction satisfying the bag of marbles that you've got. That's what it is. It's happening in the moment, precisely for you. In other words, these things that are connecting up are about your active vibrations going on. We want you to take away from this conversation the powerfulness of your focus and how source energy, the energy that creates worlds, is going to focus with you and through you for the most satisfying experience that you can have. And it isn't about who you used to be or who you will one day be. It's about what you're doing right here, right now, by allowing yourself to be a cooperative component to everything that matters to you right now. And everything that matters to you right now is not the same everything that's going to matter to you in the next moment and the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. But this law of attraction and this worthiness that you've got, this blessedness that you've got, this reason for being, this creativity that you are, life is supposed to feel good to you. It's supposed to be so much fun. And it's not because others need to know it to revere you. It's not because you're climbing the rungs of a ladder. It's not because you're getting the marks on the chart. It's not for any other reason than that you are a creator. And before you got here, you said you were going to come here and do that. What did you say you were going to do? I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel life. I'm going to expand. I'm going to know more. I'm going to be fresh and new. I'm going to interact with others. I'm going to uplift. I'm going to be uplifted. I'm going to have so much fun. And you also knew that this one life experience wasn't going to be enough for you to do it all, because you understood something about physicality. You understood that physicality has some resistance in it, and then in time you're going to get bogged down in keeping score of what you've created. So you said, I won't be there long. I'll stay while I'm fresh and frisky. So that's the question. How fresh and frisky are you? How much fun are you having? How much are you pushing against, or how much are you anticipating? You get to choose it all. Your physical apparatuses are restorative. They are renewed. You could stay in this body for a really, really, really long time if your interest in life was calling it through you and the peanut gallery wasn't clamoring and causing you to hold resistance. This is the thing that you're dealing with all the time. Source is calling you. Are you going? Source is calling you. Are you going? Or are other physical humans influencing you to wait? Maybe I should take more score. Maybe I should measure myself against others. Maybe I should catalog and pigeonhole myself and everybody else more. That's what bogs you down, is trying to be the law of attraction for everybody else. That's why we call Facebook nosebook, trying to get involved in things that don't have anything to do with your own point of attraction. Yeah, you can probably tell that we are really not keen on talking a lot about what used to be. We're much more interested in not just what's in your vortex, but the thrill of you moving in the direction of what's in your vortex. The discovery, the anticipation, the adventure, the changing of your ideas, the blending with others, the joining with others who are also on this adventure. Manifestation of vibration is just so delicious if you let it be. Yeah, good. Yeah, really good, really good.
Thank you. How are you? Nice to meet you. All right, first serious question. Am I going to be on one of your YouTube videos? I'll sign anything.
Well, it's interesting because it wasn't in the plan. In other words, on this little card that you have where you can get the audio of it, it says use this barcode for the audio. And Esther was looking at it on the screen and she was thinking, damn, this was a good one. This has really been a good one. In other words, this is really out there on the leading edge. Really out there on the leading edge.
Okay, what I struggle with for years now, I know you've been talking about inspired action, all sorts of different things. I cannot distinguish if I'm talking to myself or the divine. I'm trying to just make decisions.
Just pay attention to how you're feeling. You'll get so that you can feel the subtle differences more and more and more and more and more. And as much as you can feel is enough. Much of the time you're receiving. Much of the time you're receiving. Often when you're doing that, you question it for some reason. So don't question it. Whatever it is, let it be all right. It's like you can hear it as clearly as you can hear it. The story that we've told years ago that speaks to this really well is Esther couldn't find something that was precious to her. It was a beautiful gold pen, and she'd misplaced it. And when they moved, she touched everything they owned, and she still couldn't find it. And she wanted to find it, but finally she just gave it up. And then one day she was looking for something else, and she thought, maybe I left it in one of my handbags. So she went into the closet and picked something that she had remembered using and reached in and came out with that pen. And the way we explained that is that what she really wanted was the pen, but she had to miss the perfume in order to find the pen, because the pen was so precious that it bothered her so much that it was lost, that she was blocking her own ability to find it because it mattered too much. Does that make sense to you? So we knew that she was looking for the pen. So when we saw an opportunity to guide her to something that would lead her to the pen, it took 6 months before she came around to that. So your inner being is calling you to who you really are and what you want all the time. And so what happens with so many, that's where Esther was, and you too, you have this preconceived notion that if it's source energy, if it's your inner being, it's got to be profound and it's got to be big. And sometimes it's just a good idea and another 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 good idea. Maybe this will explain it to you really clearly. Your inner beings adore living with you, eating with you, playing with you, making love with you, being funny with you, being physical in all kinds of ways with you. In other words, you are an extension of that, you see. And so your inner beings aren't just sitting around thinking of lofty things to get you to think. Your inner beings are enjoying the expansion and the evolution of all species, of all that is. The non-physical essence of that is enjoying the becoming of it. And everything is evolving and becoming, you see. So, in specific answer to your specific question, it's much better to just assume that it's coming from that. And if it isn't, you'll feel the ink of it. Esther used to play with Jerry. Abraham has a message for you. It's about you buying something for me. And Jerry says, you can't fool me with that, Esther. I can always tell when it's Abraham and when it's you. I can always tell. Well, what's the difference? The difference is that when it's Abraham, the resistance is close to non-existence. And when it's Esther, it can be close to non-existence too. But when you really know someone, you can feel, and you really know yourself, you can feel. You can feel.
Trying.
You can feel. You can feel.
It's funny you brought that story up. I'm actually looking for one of my pens. And I have 2 pens, and I can't find it. And I'm wondering if I'm, in essence, I don't know, the absence of the pen, I'm pushing it away. And it's just a small law of attraction thing, but...
Well, it's no accident we had that conversation, is it? Because it's in your atmosphere. It's in your bag, so it's a logical thing that the law of attraction would make it part of this conversation. In fact, everything that's been part of this conversation today is about what you all have in your point of attractions. That's what makes up what we have a conversation about. It's what you all have got going on. And everything about these gatherings is about us helping you to close the gap between where you are and where you really are on every subject that's active and important to you right here, right now. Let's not make this a big deal. Let's just acknowledge that you are an extension of source energy, and that you often hear clearly and sometimes not so clearly, and that really the best thing in life that you could do for yourself and for anybody who's around you is to just feel as good as you can feel as often as you can feel good.
But when the failure arrives...
Failure?
I was just telling a young girl next to me, she goes, what are you struggling with? And not to get into it, but...
You're going to get into it, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but well, no, I'm not a financial person, so I don't want to sway anybody. I went to put in a stock option, and on a put, you make money when the stock goes down. So I said, all right, I'm doing this. I feel inspired. I feel good. I went to go to the computer, and I was busy with a patient. By the time I got back to the computer, the stock had went up. So if I would have put that in, I would have lost. And I said, man, I thought that was coming from inspired action, but obviously it wasn't. Does that make sense?
Well, it does before the fact, but after the fact, how does it feel? While it was happening, when that thought stood singularly within you, and your intention was to do that, and then you were called to something else, as you make the distinction between what you were called to and what you were going to do, which one has the strongest drawing power?
Oh, my patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always going to be the path of least resistance for you. And there's another piece to this. Like you said, you don't want to get complicated, and we don't either. But being of value to others is the strongest bunch of marbles that are in your bag. And when a stock goes down, does anybody have a negative experience?
Yes, of course.
And is that your nature?
Trying to change it, but yeah.
Is that what win-win really is?
I don't want to give up.
Don't give up. Keep winning. But you're asking us to explain to you the very precise specificity of the law of attraction, and it is really good. It's really good. And the more you understand it, and the more you are aware of what's going on, then the more satisfying it is. And then the more precisely you can place your thoughts, because you can have it all. You can have it all. You don't have to give up anything for anything. You can have it all, as far as you can want it. In other words, you can't have beyond what life has caused you to ask for. You don't get anybody else's vortex. You only get your own. But there's a lot in there. Enough?
So, any suggestions before I leave?
About what?
What to do? Relax? Like the pen, maybe drop it, or just wait, keep studying? What? Anything?
We would encourage you to have more fun.
Okay, I could do that.
We would encourage you to not try so hard to enhance the experience of others. You're really big on that. You've sort of assigned yourself a responsibility about that. And it's going to make you slip in the shower and fall on the toilet and hurt your back if you don't watch out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right.